You did not arrive here by chance. Out of the infinite possibilities of this moment, you were drawn into this transmission, as if the universe has whispered your name and aligned every frequency to bring you here. Feel this truth. You are not simply watching a video. You are stepping into a living current of energy, designed to unlock what you have long carried within. The clock of ordinary time is dissolving, and for the next hour, reality itself bends toward your awakening. You are chosen to hear what most never will. This is your hour of remembrance. You are not broken, you are in transition. This is the first truth you must hold close, because every fiber of your being has been conditioned to believe otherwise. You have been told that your struggles are signs of weakness, that your confusion means you are lost, that the pressure building inside of you is evidence that you are failing at life. But none of this is true. The trembling you feel, the sudden exhaustion that overtakes you, the days when nothing makes sense, these are not breakdowns, they are breakthroughs disguised in chaos. What feels like disintegration is really the dissolving of an old shell that can no longer contain you. Just as a caterpillar must surrender itself entirely before becoming a butterfly, you are dissolving into something more vast, more luminous, more aligned with the truth you came here to embody. Think of the way the seasons shift. Winter never apologizes for stripping the trees bare. Spring never doubts itself when it erupts in chaotic blossoms. Summer never questions its radiance, and autumn never resists its release. You are living through your own season of change, but unlike the trees or the sky, you have been taught to resist it, to panic when the winds of change arrive, to cling desperately to what you were because you do not yet see what you are becoming. And yet, the truth remains. The storm is not a punishment, it is a passage. The sleepless nights where your thoughts spin endlessly are not evidence that you are defective. They are signs that the old circuitry of your mind is being rewired to hold more frequency, more vision, more possibility. The sudden emotions that rise without warning, anger, grief, joy, despair, are not your enemy. They are unspoken fragments of your soul finally surfacing to be acknowledged and integrated. The tiredness that drops over you like a heavy blanket is not laziness. It is your body's way of saying, I am recalibrating to a new rhythm. You are not failing. You are transforming. Notice how, in small moments of daily life, this truth reveals itself. The conversations that used to interest you now feel hollow. The foods you once craved may leave you restless or uneasy. Even the places you used to feel comfortable in may suddenly feel too small, too heavy, too confining. This is not you losing yourself. It is you outgrowing the version of yourself that once fit into those old patterns. Like a child who cannot return to the crib once they've learned to walk, you cannot return to the smaller spaces of consciousness that once seemed enough. And though it feels uncomfortable, though it may even feel frightening, it is sacred proof that you are expanding. There is a paradox here that only your heart can understand. On one hand, it feels like everything is falling apart. On the other, everything is secretly falling into place. The friendships that are fading, the dreams that no longer excite you, the routines that feel like chains. These are not losses, they are releases. Life is unfastening the anchors that kept you tied to a shore you have already outgrown. You may feel untethered now, but that is only because you are being prepared to sail into waters your old self could never reach. And yet, I know it can feel unbearable at times. The mind asks, why me? Why now? Why can't I just feel normal again? But hear this, what you call normal was never your destiny. It was only survival. You were never designed to remain numb, to go through the motions, to live half asleep. Your unrest is the alarm clock of your soul ringing louder and louder, until you can no longer ignore it. And though it shakes you, it is not here to destroy you. It is here to awaken you. You may find yourself walking through days that feel fragmented, where you slip between clarity and confusion, hope and despair, as if reality itself cannot decide what shape it should take. This is not madness. It is the very fabric of your consciousness stretching between dimensions. The old timeline has not fully closed. The new one has not fully anchored, and you are the bridge. This in-between space, though disorienting, is holy ground. You are learning to walk where the floor is still forming beneath your feet, When you feel the heaviness, remember this: even diamonds are formed in unbearable pressure. Even stars are born in collapse. What feels like too much is not your end. It is the exact intensity required for your rebirth. Every trembling of your being is a signal that you are alive at the edge of transformation. And yes, it is uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is not the sign to turn back. It is the sign you are exactly where you are meant to be. Look closer, and you will see that your life has already been whispering this truth. The moments where you laughed at something simple and felt a wave of peace come over you, as if for a second the weight dropped. Those are glimpses of the new reality already breaking through. The times when a stranger's kindness reached you more deeply than you expected, when you felt tears rise without knowing why, those are the subtle cracks where light enters. The strange déjà vu, the repeated patterns, the sudden urge to step away from what you've always known. Those are not accidents. They are signals that the deeper current of life is carrying you forward. Whether you feel ready or not, you are not broken. You are in transition. Let those words settle into you. Let them replace the heavy stories of failure that the world has fed you. You do not need to fix yourself because nothing essential about you is damaged. What you need is courage to let the false layers peel away. What you need is trust that the chaos is whole. What you need is the remembrance that your soul chose this moment, this unraveling, because it knew you were ready. And though it may feel like you are standing on the edge of an unknown abyss, remember, every abyss you fear is really a doorway to more of yourself. When you leap, wings appear. When you surrender, ground forms. When you release the old, the new rushes in like air filling your lungs after holding your breath too long. This is not the end of you. It is the beginning of you in a form you have not yet imagined. So do not fear the shaking, the unraveling, the days when you feel undone. The unraveling is the sacred act of being remade. Trust it, even when you cannot explain it. Trust it, even when those around you cannot see what you are going through. Trust it, because the urgency of your soul is greater than the comfort of staying the same. And above all, trust yourself. You are not falling apart. You are being pulled together into the shape of your truest self. This is the passage, and you are walking it now. This is happening because you have already said yes in the silence of your soul. Even if your conscious mind cannot recall the moment, even if you think you never agreed to this path, something deeper in you already whispered acceptance. Long before you arrived here, before this very hour when these words are reaching you, your higher self leaned forward into the infinite and answered a call that most never hear. It is why you feel as though something greater is moving you, guiding you, drawing you into synchronicities that no logic can explain. The strange alignments, the repeated numbers flashing across your days, the songs that seem to speak directly to you, the dreams that linger long after you wake. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations, reminders that a choice was made beyond the grasp of ordinary memory. You already agreed to awaken, and life is now rearranging itself around that silent yes. You may think, but I never signed up for this. I never asked for such intensity, such upheaval, such unexplainable change. And yet, can you deny that somewhere within you, there has always been a longing, a pull towards something more than survival, more than repetition, more than the endless cycle of waking and working and sleeping? That longing was your yes. It was subtle, so quiet you may not have recognized it at the time, but the universe did. Every time you sighed in exhaustion and thought, there must be more than this, you were declaring your readiness. Every time you looked at the stars and felt that strange ache in your chest, you were affirming your alignment with something large. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of yearning, that was your soul giving permission for the transformation that now sweeps through your life. The paradox is that you both chose this, and you are being chosen. On one hand, it is your consent that opened the doorway. On the other, it is destiny itself that has selected you. Both are true, and they do not contradict each other. You are not a victim of fate, nor are you the sole architect of your path. You are a co-creator, woven into a tapestry larger than you can see, yet intricately shaped by your own willingness. The mystery is that your yes was whispered long before your mind caught up. In some ways, your human self is only now discovering what your eternal self has always known. Look at how this yes has already been unfolding in your life. Have you noticed how certain relationships are fading? How some conversations feel like echoes from a world you no longer belong to? That is not rejection. It is alignment. The people and places that once matched your vibration no longer do, and so they dissolve. And though it may ache, though it may leave you feeling alone at times, it is evidence that the new life you agreed to is taking shape. You cannot walk fully into your destiny while still clinging to the spaces of your past. Life is moving pieces for you, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always in the direction of your hidden consent. There have been moments, too, when you received sudden clarity. Maybe it came as a rush of energy in meditation, or a wave of peace during a walk, or an unexpected knowing that dropped into your heart without explanation. These flashes are the echoes of your yes rippling out. They are reminders that the path is real, that the unseen is not just imagination, that your higher self is orchestrating with precision what seems random to your human eye. Even the challenges, even the delays, even the frustrations, especially those are part of the architecture of your awakening. They are not obstacles placed against you, but thresholds placed before you. Do you see how even your resistance is a form of confirmation? Every time you say, "I don't want this," you are acknowledging that something is undeniably happening. Your refusal proves the presence of the invitation. You cannot resist what does not exist. And so, your struggles are not proof that you are failing. They are proof that you are engaged in a living process that cannot be denied. Your higher self said yes, and the process began, whether or not your conscious self feels ready. And it is important to understand this. The universe honors your yes, but it does not wait for your comfort. You are being pulled into transformation, not because you are perfectly prepared, but because you are needed. The timing is not arbitrary. It is aligned with currents greater than your personal life, currents that move through families, through generations, through collective history. When you feel the pressure building, it is not only your story unfolding, it is the weight of ancestral patterns breaking. It is the momentum of collective awakening surging through you. You carry within you the seeds of change, and your yes has activated them. That activation cannot be undone, and yet you are never without guide. The signs that surround you, the words that find you at the right time, the dreams that seem too vivid to dismiss, the intuitive nudges you cannot explain, are the scaffolding of support being erected around your transformation. They are like breadcrumbs scattered across your path, ensuring that you will not be lost even when you feel you are wandering. Your higher self is always one step ahead, laying down markers to remind you you chose this. You are not abandoned. You are still held. There is urgency here, but not the kind that should make you panic. It is the urgency of ripened fruit, ready to fall, of seeds that cannot remain underground any longer. Your yes has ripened. You cannot go back to sleep. You cannot unknow what you now see. And the more you try to return to your old ways of being, the more they will reject you. Have you noticed this? That the habits and comforts that once numbed you now feel intolerable. That the distractions that once entertained you now feel empty. That is destiny closing the doors behind you. You have crossed the threshold, and there is no return. This is not to frighten you, it is to free you, for the fear of change always comes from the illusion that you are being dragged into something unknown against your will. But the truth is the opposite. You are being carried into the fulfillment of what you already asked for. You said yes, and the universe is responding. It is not punishment, it is partnership. It is not a theft of your freedom, it is the flowering of it. You are not being forced into awakening. You are remembering that you chose it. So breathe. Let that truth settle into your bones. You do not need to fight what is happening. You do not need to panic about where it is taking you. All you need is to honor the yes that already lives within you. To say it again, consciously, this time, with your whole being. Yes, I am ready. Yes, I surrender. Yes, I trust. When you echo your soul's original yes with your human voice, the alignment deepens, the resistance softens, and the path becomes clearer. This is why you are here now, listening, feeling, questioning. yet unable to turn away, because part of you remembers, part of you knows, part of you is awakening into the choice you made long ago, and that choice is sacred. That choice is irreversible. That choice is destined. This is happening because you already said yes, and the universe is honoring it with relentless love. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what you already are. This is the paradox that every awakening soul must face, the gentle but shattering realization that all the seeking, all the striving, all the endless effort to improve yourself was never about adding anything to your essence. It was about peeling away the layers that never truly belonged to you. You have been taught from the moment you opened your eyes in this world that you are incomplete, that you must collect achievements, possessions, and identities in order to prove your worth. But your essence has never needed proof. The treasure has always been there, hidden beneath the noise of survival, waiting for the moment when you would be ready to see it. That moment is now. You may feel like you are changing, but in truth you are uncovering. Imagine a statue covered in dust for centuries. When the dust is brushed away, no one says the statue has become something new. They say the statue has been revealed, and so it is with you. The self that you are glimpsing through moments of clarity, the flashes of peace that arrive without warning, the sudden surges of love that well up inside you for no reason at all. Those are not random moods. They are glimpses of your original self shining through the cracks of what you no longer need to carry. Think of how much of your life has been spent wearing masks. You have worn the mask of the obedient child, the responsible adult, the one who must be strong, the one who must never disappoint, the one who must succeed, the one who must hide their tears. Each of these masks was useful one. They helped you survive environments that did not yet recognize your truth. They protected you, shielded you, allowed you to move through a world that would not have understood your raw essence. But masks, no matter how necessary, are not permanent. They grow heavy with time, and they begin to suffocate the very life they were meant to protect. You feel this heaviness now. You feel it in the moments where your laughter feels forced, where your words feel hollow, where your reflection seems like someone else's eyes staring back at you. That heaviness is not evidence of your failure. It is evidence that the masks have outlived their purpose. There is a paradox here. You may feel like you are losing yourself, when in fact you are finding yourself for the first. The loss of the false feels like death because you built an identity around it. But death is only the perspective of the mask. The soul feels only relief. The soul whispers, finally they are remembering me. Finally they are letting go of what I am not. You are not breaking apart. You are breaking free. Even in your daily life you can sense this process. Perhaps the conversations you once enjoyed now feel shallow, as if the words skim across the surface while something deeper calls to you beneath. Perhaps you find yourself unable to tolerate environments that drain your energy, even though you once endured them without question. Perhaps old habits bring you no satisfaction, no matter how much you cling to them. This is not you becoming strange, difficult, or ungrateful. This is you recalibrating to the frequency of your essence. Your soul has no interest in distractions anymore. It wants truth, and only truth can nourish it now. It may feel strange, even lonely, to walk this path. Others may not understand why you are changing. They may accuse you of being different, of being distant, of no longer fitting into the roles they once assigned to you. But that is exactly the point. You are not here to fit into their roles. You are here to embody your essence. And sometimes embodying your essence means disappointing the illusions that others hold of you. It means letting go of the approval you once depended on. It means daring to walk alone through the valley of uncertainty until you realize that you are never truly alone. The truth is that everything you have been seeking outside of you, the love, the validation, the sense of belonging, was always encoded within you. You have chased mirrors in the external world, trying to see yourself reflected in achievements, relationships, or possessions. And when those mirrors shattered, you thought you had lost yourself, but you were never in them to begin with. They were only reflections, never the source. The source has always been within you, waiting patiently for the moment when you would turn inward and remember. There is a kind of sacred humor in all of this. You have been running in circles, desperate to become someone worthy, only to discover that worthiness cannot be achieved. It can only be remembered. You cannot earn what you already are. You cannot chase what you already hold. The moment you stop running, the moment you stand still and allow yourself to feel, you realize that the treasure has been buried in your own chest the entire time. And the universe laughs with you, not in mockery but in joy, because the game of forgetting and remembering has always been part of the dance. This remembering is not abstract. It shows up in the smallest moments. The way your body relaxes when you stand barefoot on the earth. The way your heart opens when you hear a piece of music that feels ancient, as if it belonged to you before you were born. The way you feel a strange sense of home in the eyes of a stranger. These are not accidents. They are reminders. They are glimpses of the self that existed before the masks, before the noise, before the forgetting. Each time you allow yourself to lean into those moments, you are strengthening the bridge back to your essence. And yet there is urgency here. You cannot linger forever in the in-between, half clinging to your masks, while half remembering your truth. The pressure you feel in your life, the discomfort, the dissonance, the dissatisfaction, is the soul's way of telling you that the time of halfway is ended. You are being called to step fully into remembrance, to let go of the weight of identities that no longer serve you, to surrender the false safety of fitting in, to trust that what is real in you is indestructible and will carry you further than any mask ever could. So do not be afraid of losing what you are not. Let it fall. Let the roles dissolve. Let the expectations shatter. What remains will not be emptiness. It will be fullness. It will be the you that existed before the world told you who to be. It will be the you that is eternal, luminous, and unbreakable. That self does not need to be built. It only needs to be remembered. And when you remember, everything changes. Your relationships shift, not because you force them to, but because truth alters the field around you. Your choices shift, not because you strive harder, but because alignment feels natural. Your energy shifts, not because you push, but because the flow of life finally moves unobstructed through you. The paradox is that the moment you stop trying to become, you begin to embody. The moment you stop chasing, you arrive. The moment you stop pretending, you shine. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what you already are, and this remembering is not a luxury. It is your destiny. The world is not waiting for another mask. It is waiting for your essence. It is waiting for the light you agreed to carry before you arrived here. And that light, buried but never extinguished, is rising now. Trust it. Trust yourself. Trust the remembrance, for it will not lead you astray. It is the map written in your soul, and it has always known the way. Your reality shifts not by force, but by resonance. This is one of the deepest truths you will come to realize as you move through this transmission. For everything around you is responding to what you carry within. You may have been taught that change is about pushing, striving, manipulating the pieces of your life until they form the picture you desire. But the quantum does not respond to force. It responds to frequency. It bends to the vibration you hold in your being, not the pressure you exert on the outside world. You are not here to control reality like a machine. You are here to harmonize with it like music. Think back to the times when you entered a room and immediately felt the energy shift before a single word was spoken. Perhaps you felt uplifted, as if joy had already saturated the air, or perhaps you felt uneasy, as though invisible tension pressed against your chest. That invisible current was not imagination, it was resonance. The atmosphere was shaped not by what was done, but by what was carried within the hearts and bodies of those present. And you too emit this field everywhere you go. You are not a passive observer of your environment, you are a tuning fork, and the frequency you carry alters the song of the world around you. This is why force fails. You can try to control outcomes, manipulate circumstances, or chase after things you believe you need. But if your inner frequency does not match them, they will slip away. You can repeat affirmations while still carrying doubt, and the echo of that doubt will outweigh the sound of your word. You can take action while rooted in fear, and the energy of fear will ripple louder than the action itself. It is not what you do, but the vibration you bring to what you do that shapes the result. The paradox is that the moment you release control, The moment you stop forcing life to obey you, resonance begins to work in your favor. Life flows to you because you have become aligned with its rhythm. Think of water. It does not force itself downhill. It simply moves with gravity, with the natural currents of flow. And yet over time, water carves canyons, reshapes landscapes, wears down even the hardest stone. Its power is not in its struggle, but in its alignment with the greater laws of existence. In the same way, when you release resistance and allow yourself to resonate with the frequency of your essence, life begins to rearrange itself without struggle. Doors open, synchronicities multiply, opportunities arrive not by your frantic grasping, but by your quiet alignment. You have seen glimpses of this already, though you may not have named it resonance. Think of the times when everything seemed to fall into place effortlessly. Perhaps you thought of a friend, and they called moments later. Perhaps you set an intention, and within days the right person appeared, the right conversation unfolded, the right opportunity aligned. Those were not accidents. They were the quantum field responding to your frequency in perfect timing. The universe does not operate on coincidence. It operates on resonance. But you have also felt the opposite. Moments when no matter how hard you tried, things slipped away, resisted you, or crumbled despite your effort. You may have thought you were failing, but you were not failing. You were vibrating at a frequency that could not sustain what you were chasing. This is not punishment. It is protection. Life will not allow you to hold what you are not yet resonant with. It will fall away, sometimes painfully, but always with the deeper purpose of aligning you to what truly belongs to your vibration. And so the call now is not to force, but to tune yourself to the frequency of what you wish to live, not by pretending, not by layering affirmations over wounds, but by shifting into authenticity. If you desire peace, then you must carry peace within, even in small ways, by slowing your breath, by softening your thoughts, by forgiving what has long weighed on you. If you desire love, you must allow yourself to embody love, to radiate it in your words, your gestures, your presence, even toward yourself in moments of solitude. If you desire abundance, you must first feel abundant in your gratitude, in your recognition of the fullness that already surrounds you, in your willingness to release scarcity's grip on your heart. Resonance is not about pretending you have what you want. It is about becoming the vibration of it now. This is the paradox that may unsettle your mind. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are. The chasing energy only affirms lack, and so lack answers you back. But when you embody the state of already being, the field has no choice but to echo it. This is why ancient wisdom has always said that gratitude opens doors, that surrender creates miracles, that faith moves mountains. These are not metaphors. They are descriptions of resonance. And yet this does not mean you must be perfect. Do not fall into the illusion that resonance demands constant joy or unshakable positivity. That is another mask, another form of control disguised as spirituality. Resonance is authentic. When you are angry, to honor your anger truthfully is a higher frequency than to deny it with false cheerfulness. When you are grieving, to allow yourself to feel grief fully is more aligned than to force yourself into premature smiles. Authenticity always carries a clearer frequency than pretense. The field responds not to your masks but to your truth. You are being invited now into a new relationship with life itself. Instead of demanding, instead of pleading, instead of forcing, you are learning to harmonize. You are learning to listen to what life is offering and to meet it with resonance rather than resistance. You are learning to trust that what matches your vibration will come, and what does not match will fade. This is not passivity, it is mastery. The masters of life are not those who dominate reality, but those who vibrate so clearly in their essence that reality reshapes itself to meet them. This is why the urgency you feel is not a push to do more, but a pull to align more deep. Every moment of dissonance in your life, every situation that feels heavy, every relationship that feels draining, every habit that feels hollow, is pointing to where you are out of tune. Do not ignore these signals. They are not here to punish you. They are here to call you back to resonance. And the moment you shift within, even in small ways, The outer world cannot help but shift with you, so release the illusion of control. Release the frantic need to fix everything from the outside. Instead, begin with the vibration of your breath, your thoughts, your presence. Begin with the small acts of alignment that ripple outward into the field. Trust that reality does not resist you, it reflects you, and when you align with the truth of your essence, reality has no choice but to mirror it back to you. Your reality shifts, not by force, but by resonance. This is not a philosophy, it is a law, and as you remember this law, as you embody it, as you practice it with devotion, you will find that life becomes less of a battle and more of a song that you are not only hearing but singing, a song that you are not only singing but becoming. And that song, once sung from the fullness of your being, will change everything. There is a mystery at the heart of existence that the mind cannot open, no matter how much it analyzes or strives to comprehend. It is like a sealed scroll, a book written within and without, yet bound by seals that no human reasoning can break. And perhaps you have felt this too, the sensation that life carries a depth you cannot yet reach, as if there is something hidden just behind the veil of perception, waiting for the moment you are ready to receive it. Many search tirelessly for the key in knowledge, in philosophy, in external achievements, but the seals remain unbroken until a deeper recognition awakens within. The paradox is that the one who can open the scroll is not found in the striving of the mind but in the surrender of the heart, not in force but in humility, not in the endless grasping of ego, but in the quiet presence of spirit. There are moments when you have sensed the weight of this sealed truth, when you felt both the longing to know and the despair of believing it was forever beyond your reach. Perhaps you thought yourself unworthy, too fractured, too small to ever touch the sacred core of reality. But what you must understand is that this despair too is part of the unveiling. The recognition of your inability to force the seal open is itself the beginning of the opening, because it leads you into the posture of surrender. For the one who breaks the seal is not the proud conqueror, but the gentle presence who yields, who loves, who embodies the paradox of strength in weakness and majesty in humility. Think of the lamb, small, fragile, seemingly powerless in the face of the lion's roar or the serpent's cunning. Yet it is the lamb, not the lion or the serpent, that holds the authority to open what no other can. Why? Because the lamb embodies innocence, sacrifice, and love, the very frequencies that resonate with the deepest truth of the universe. This is the revelation you are now being called to see. That power is not what you thought it was. True power does not dominate. It does not coerce. It does not demand submission. True power is the willingness to lay itself down, to embrace vulnerability, to dissolve the illusion of separation through love so pure that it becomes unshakable. And so the lamb stands as the paradox at the center of existence, weak yet invincible, slain yet alive, rejected yet enthroned. In this image you are invited to see yourself anew, for you too have believed that your wounds disqualified you, that your brokenness kept you from the fullness of truth. But it is your very brokenness that makes you worthy, for it has opened the cracks through which light enters. It is not your perfection that opens the seals, but your willingness to embody the same paradox as the lamb, to be both vulnerable and eternal, to carry both your scars and your radiance, to live as both dust and divinity. When you realize this, something shifts. The seals begin to break not because you have forced them open, but because your vibration has aligned with the one who can open them. This is why ancient wisdom has always pointed to humility, to love, to surrender. These were not moral rules but vibrational keys. They attune you to the frequency of the Lamb, and in that attunement, the mysteries concealed in the scroll begin to unfold. The field recognizes resonance, and when you embody the resonance of the Lamb, reality unveils its hidden layers before you. This unveiling is not merely symbolic, it is experiential. You begin to see the world differently. You notice synchronicities you once dismissed. You hear guidance in the silence between thoughts. You sense the interconnectedness of all things, not as a concept but as a living current flowing through you. And with every seal that breaks, the field within you expands, until the universe itself feels less like something external and more like something pulsing from the very center of your being. Yet here, again, lies the paradox. With each unveiling, you realize there is always more to unveil. The scroll is endless, written on both sides, containing mysteries that no single lifetime can exhaust. But this does not frustrate you. It liberates you, for you no longer chase completion as a destination. You embrace revelation as a living journey. Every moment becomes a new seal breaking, every breath a new word revealed. Life itself becomes the scroll, and you are both the reader and the text, the seeker and the revelation, the question and the answer unfolding simultaneously. This is why despair turns to awe. For though you once grieved the thought that no one could open the scroll, you now rejoice in the recognition that the one who opens it is already within you. The Lamb, the paradox of slain yet risen, lives as a frequency in your own heart. And the more you align with that vibration through surrender, through love, through the courage to be vulnerable, the more reality itself begins to yield its secrets. You thought the mystery was outside of you, locked away in some distant heaven, but heaven has always been within you, waiting for the moment you became still enough, humble enough, resonant enough to perceive it. And so you are not abandoned in this journey. You are not unworthy. You are the temple where the scroll rests, and you are the one who carries the Lamb's vibration within your own being. This is why you are called now to shift your understanding of power, of worth, of reality itself. The seals are not broken by striving, but by resonance. The mystery is not revealed by control, but by surrender. The deepest truths are not withheld from you. They are awaiting the vibration of your readiness. Let this truth settle into you. Feel the paradox of it, the way it dismantles the structures of the mind yet validates the deepest knowing of the heart. You are both the one who longs for the scroll, and the one who carries the key. You are both the seeker and the revelation. You are both broken and whole, lamb and lion, fragile and eternal. And when you embrace this paradox, when you live in resonance with the frequency of love that dissolves all separation, the scroll is opened, the mystery unfolds, and you realize that you were never shut out of truth. You were only being prepared to receive it. The unveiling is not an event to come. It is happening now. Every moment you live in authenticity, every breath you align with love, every thought you surrender into presence, another seal breaks. And as each seal breaks, reality shifts. What was hidden becomes visible. What was sealed becomes spoken. What was once despair transforms into awe. And in this unfolding, you find that nothing in your life has been wasted. Not your pain, not your longing, not your failures, not your tears. All of it has prepared you to stand here, now, resonant with the Lamb, ready for the scroll to open, ready to live the revelation, not as a story outside of you, but as the living pulse of your own being. Your pain has never been wasted. Though you may have carried it like a burden too heavy to bear, though you may have asked in silence why life allowed such wounds to pierce you, the truth is that every fragment of suffering has been alchemy. You have not been abandoned in those moments when you felt alone. You have been refined. What looks like ruin in one season becomes foundation in another, and what felt like endless night has secretly been preparing you to perceive light with sharper clarity. The universe does not mock you with pain. It entrusts you with fire, because only through fire is gold revealed. Think of the moments in your life when betrayal shattered your trust, when the people you thought would stand beside you turned away. In the moment it seemed like loss. Yet over time you discovered that you became more sovereign, more aligned, more anchored in yourself. That pain stripped you of illusions you might never have willingly released. It cut ties that held you small. It tested the resilience of your spirit until you discovered you were more unshakable than you ever imagined. This is the paradox of your wounds. What appeared as destruction was secretly liberation. What felt like an ending was a beginning wearing a disguise. The tears you have shed were not wasted on the ground. They watered the seeds of your becoming. Each one carried the salt of transformation. Each one softened the soil of your heart so that compassion could take root. If you had never felt the depths of sorrow, you would not now be capable of holding the heights of joy. If you had not known abandonment, you would not recognize the sweetness of true presence. If you had not tasted despair, you would not value hope the way you do now. The very experiences you once cursed have carved out the space within you to hold more love, more wisdom, more power. It is easy to see the scars on your life as signs of defeat, but scars are proof of survival. They are the signatures of resilience etched into your being. They remind you that you have walked through fire and emerged, not untouched, but transformed. And it is the transformation that matters. A life without scars would be a life without depth, without initiation, without the kind of wisdom that can only be birthed through lived experience. The cracks in your story are not evidence of weakness, but doorways for light to enter. In fact, without those cracks, the brilliance of your soul would remain hidden behind the illusion of perfection. There is a pattern woven into the universe. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is meaningless. Just as compost transforms decay into fertile soil, so too does your pain transmute into power. You may not always see it in the moment, but hindsight reveals it again and again. That heartbreak made you more discerning. That failure rerouted you toward your true calling. That season of emptiness cleared the space for something higher to take root. Life has been weaving even your darkest moments into a tapestry of awakening. You are not the victim of randomness. You are the carrier of transmutation. And here is the paradox that stirs so deeply. The very wounds that you believe disqualified you are the same wounds that prepare you to hold the light. A vessel without cracks cannot radiate. It only contains. But a vessel with openings allows the light to stream outward. You are such a vessel. Your scars are not hiding the light, they are releasing it. They are the very channels through which your radiance reaches others. When someone looks into your eyes and sees the depth of compassion there, it is because of what you have endured. When someone feels safe in your presence, it is because you know what it means to feel unsafe. When someone finds courage by your side, it is because you know the taste of fear and have chosen to rise anyway. And this is why your pain has not been meaningless, because it has prepared you for service. It has made you into a lighthouse for others who still wander in the dark. The wounds you once wished away have become bridges for connection, mirrors of empathy, and reservoirs of strength. Your destiny was never to remain crushed by suffering, but to transmute it into wisdom that serves the collective. What you carry is not just your own story. It is the medicine that others need. The world does not need perfect, untouchable beings. It needs embodied souls who can say, I have walked through the fire and I carry the flame. When you see your pain through this lens, it no longer defines you as broken. It defines you as chosen. Chosen not in the sense of superiority, but chosen as one willing to experience the depth of human vulnerability so that you could embody the fullness of human strength. You were trusted with trials because you are capable of alchemy. You have endured what others might not have survived, because your spirit carries the imprint of resilience. And now, in this transmission, that resilience is being activated into its highest form. Feel into this. Every heartbreak, every loss, every failure, every unanswered prayer has converged into this moment. You are not standing here in spite of them. You are standing here because of them. They have prepared you for the expansion you are stepping into now. Without them, you would not be able to hold this frequency, to embody this light, to carry this transmission. They were not punishments. They were initiations, and the initiation is complete the moment you stop asking why me and start saying, through me, this pain becomes compassion. Through me, this wound becomes wisdom. Through me, this fire becomes light. Do not fear the memories of what you have endured. Do not hide from the scars you carry. They are not shame. They are symbols of the soul's unbreakable nature, proof that you can endure darkness without being extinguished. And now, the paradox continues. For even as you honor the story of your wounds, you are no longer bound by them. They shaped you, but they do not limit you. They taught you, but they do not define you. You carry them, but they no longer carry you. This is the liberation you are stepping into, to see your entire past, not as a chain but as a key. The very things you thought disqualified you are the same things that mark you as ready. And if you listen closely, you will feel the resonance of truth in this. Nothing has been wasted, not the nights you wept, not the prayers unanswered, not the dreams deferred. All of it has conspired to awaken you to the truth of who you are. And who you are is not a victim of circumstance, but a co-creator of reality. Who you are is not the sum of your suffering, but the alchemist who turns suffering into light. Who you are is not broken, but transformed, not wounded, but initiated, not lesser but greater because of the path you have walked. And now the universe is calling you to rise, to claim the fullness of this transformation, and to recognize that your scars are not the end of your story. They are the very beginning of your service. So take this truth into your being. Your pain has been the preparation, your wounds the awakening, your scars the evidence of your becoming. Let the old shame dissolve. Let the fear that you are unworthy fade, and step into the knowing that you were never meant to be crushed by your suffering. You were meant to carry its flame into the world. This is your role in the collective shift. This is your destiny, and the time to embody it is now. You have never been alone, even in the moments when loneliness wrapped around you like a heavy cloak. Even when you were convinced that no one could understand the weight you carried. You are part of something vast, an interwoven field of consciousness that breathes and moves through every being, every moment, every heartbeat. When you awaken, it is not for yourself alone. It is for the entire web of life that stretches beyond imagination. Your rising is not isolated. It sends ripples outward, just as the drop of water disturbs the stillness of a pond, expanding in circles without end. The paradox is that your journey feels intimate and personal, yet it has always been collective, always woven into the great awakening of the whole. Perhaps you have noticed it already. The sudden eye contact with a stranger that feels like recognition, as if some unspoken truth passed silently between you. The uncanny timing of a message, a song, a dream, arriving when you needed it most. The sense that something greater is orchestrating connections, drawing together those whose vibrations resonate with yours. These are not coincidences. They are the subtle whispers of the collective shift, the invisible hands guiding you toward others who are walking the same unseen path. When you awaken, the field around you shifts, and the field is shared. What changes within you sends a signal into the quantum fabric, and others feel it sometimes without even knowing why. This is why your transformation matters more than you realize. When you heal, you do not heal for yourself alone. You heal for generations behind you, and for souls beside you. When you release fear, you make it easier for someone else to release theirs. When you choose love over bitterness, you tilt the balance of the collective toward light. Every breath of courage, every act of forgiveness, every choice to remain present in the face of chaos, becomes a gift to the whole. You are a single note in the cosmic symphony, and yet without your vibration, the music would be incomplete. And yet here lies another paradox. Though you are never alone, the work of awakening requires solitude. There are times when the path feels narrow, when it seems as though no one else could possibly understand what you are moving through. These are not signs of isolation, but of initiation. The caterpillar does not transform in a crowd. It dissolves within the cocoon. So too do you in moments of solitude. Dissolve into the formless so that you may emerge as something new. But when you emerge, you find that others have also been in their cocoons, and suddenly you recognize one another in a new way. What felt like loneliness was in truth preparation for communion. If you reflect, you will see that your life has been filled with these invisible threads. Perhaps a book appeared in your hands at just the right moment, written years before you were born, by someone you will never meet, yet carrying the exact message your soul needed. Perhaps you have felt the presence of ancestors, guiding you with whispers of intuition, even though they left this world long ago. Perhaps you have found comfort in the smile of a stranger, a fleeting glance that carry the weight of eternity. All of this is evidence of the web that binds you, the unseen community of souls walking beside you, whether in body or in spirit. And now you are being asked to see your role within this vast awakening. It is not enough to believe that your journey is yours alone. You are a bridge, a mirror, a lighthouse. The light you carry illuminates the path for others, even when you do not realize. Have you not felt it yourself? The way someone else's courage gave you strength, the way someone's kindness restored your hope, the way someone's authenticity gave you permission to be real. You too are that for someone else. Without speaking a word, your vibration communicates. Without forcing anything, your frequency contributes. By simply being who you are becoming, you shift the atmosphere of the collective field. And still there is more, because your awakening is not just for people you will meet in this lifetime. It reverberates across time. It heals the wounds of your lineage, breaking cycles that seemed unbreakable. It plants seeds for generations yet unborn, ensuring they inherit not only your DNA but your liberation. The choice you make to awaken does not stop with you. It alters the river of ancestry and the soil of the future. You are part of a chain far longer than your lifespan, and your light is both the fulfillment of those before and the gift to those to come. The collective shift may feel invisible, but it is undeniable. More and more souls are stirring, sensing that the world as it has been cannot remain. The systems built on fear are trembling. The illusions of separation are crumbling. The veils are thinning. This is why you have felt urgency, why the inner call has grown louder, why your very body responds to energies you cannot explain. You are not imagining it. You are participating in a planetary awakening, one heartbeat among billions, pulsing together toward a new rhythm. Yet paradoxically, the collective awakening begins in the individual heart. It does not happen out there in governments, in institutions, in systems. It happens in here, in the quiet revolution of consciousness that takes place within you. And as you awaken, you contribute to the whole. The collective shift is not a wave that sweeps over passive souls. It is a tapestry woven by the choices of millions who dare to live differently. You are one of those souls, and without your thread, the pattern would be incomplete. This is why your presence matters now more than ever. You are not waiting for the shift. You are the shift. You are not waiting for the world to change. The world is waiting for you to embody the change. And though it may feel like a burden, it is truly an honor. The universe entrusted you with this role because it knows your spirit is capable. You were not born at this time by accident. You incarnated into this moment because your light was needed here, now as part of this collective turning. So feel the truth of this. You are both an individual spark and an inseparable flame of the whole. You walk alone at times, but never truly alone. You transform in solitude, but always for the sake of the collective. You heal your own wounds, and in doing so, you heal the fabric of humanity. This is your role in the Great Awakening, your part in the cosmic symphony, your thread in the eternal web. And the time to recognize it, to embody it fully, is not someday, it is now, in this very breath, in this very heartbeat, in this very transmission that is reminding you of what you already are. You are both the dreamer and the dream, and the longer you sit with this truth, the more it begins to undo every assumption you ever carried about who you are and what this life is. For so long you have been told that reality is something outside of you, fixed, unchangeable, a stage upon which you walk but never influence. And yet even in your quietest moments, you have felt otherwise. You have seen how your focus bends outcomes, how your expectations shape encounters, how your inner atmosphere seems to mirror itself in the outer world. You are not simply moving through reality. Reality is moving through you, responding, reflecting, rearranging itself according to the frequency you carry. This is why life often feels like a paradox. You think you are awake inside a dream, but you are also the one dreaming it into existence. Consider how many times life has mirrored your unspoken state. When you carried hidden fear, did not fear seem to appear everywhere you looked? When you were filled with joy, did not joy seem to spill into every encounter, making even the ordinary shimmer? This is not illusion, it is law. The field does not give you what you ask for with words. It gives you what you are in resonance with. This is why sometimes prayers seemed unanswered. They were answered, but not by your surface longing, rather by the vibration beneath it. You may have asked for abundance, but if you vibrated lack, life reflected lack. You may have begged for love, but if you vibrated fear of abandonment, life gave you relationships that matched that fear. This is not punishment, it is revelation. Reality has been holding up a mirror, showing you what you carry inside, not to shame you but to wake you up to your role as dreamer. And here lies the great shift. When you understand that you are both dreamer and dream, you stop fighting what appears, and you begin to listen. Every event becomes a messenger. Every situation a reflection. The things you once cursed as obstacles are revealed as guides. The things you once resented become teachers. Reality stops being something to escape from and becomes something to awaken within. For the dream is not meant to trap you. It is meant to show you yourself, until you realize that you are the one projecting it. This realization does not make you arrogant. It makes you humble, because suddenly you see the immensity of your responsibility. You see that you cannot blame the world without also examining your vibration. You see that the darkness you condemn is not separate from the unhealed corners of your own being. You see that the change you demand from others must first awaken within yourself. And paradoxically, as you take this responsibility, you discover your freedom, no longer bound by the illusion that you are powerless. You awaken to the truth that the dream bends when the dreamer awakens. Think of your nights of sleep. In dreams, when lucidity comes, everything shifts. The moment you realize I am dreaming, the dream obeys your awareness. Walls dissolve, gravity bends, time folds. What felt rigid becomes fluid because consciousness has awakened within it. This is exactly what is happening in your waking life. The moment you realize that you are dreaming, reality itself loosens. Things that once felt unmovable begin to rearrange. Opportunities appear, synchronicities multiply, doors open that were invisible before. You begin to see that the laws of limitation were never absolute. They were only the rules of an unconscious dream, and yet do not mistake this for control. The dreamer is not meant to dominate the dream but to dance with it. Reality is not clay to be forced by ego. It is music to be played with soul. The paradox is that when you try to control the dream from fear, it resists you, but when you align with the current of love, the dream cooperates in ways more miraculous than you could have planned. You are not here to manipulate life but to harmonize with it, to remember that the dream is alive, responsive, intelligent and co-creative. This is why the ancients spoke of surrender, of trust, of flowing with what is. They understood the paradox. The more you try to force the dream, the more rigid it becomes. But the more you surrender to its intelligence, the more fluid and responsive it is. You are both author and character, both painter and painting, both creator and creation. To live in this awareness is to walk with reverence, to listen deeply to what reality is showing you, to adjust, not by fighting the outer world, but by attuning the inner frequency. And when you live this way, reality becomes luminous. The mundane transforms into miracle. A conversation with a stranger becomes a message from the field. A song on the radio becomes a whisper from the unseen. Even the challenges that arrive no longer feel like punishments, but invitations, reflections of what is asking to be integrated, loved, transmuted within you. Life stops being something happening to you and becomes something happening through you. And this is the invitation of this transmission, to wake up within the dream and to remember yourself as both dreamer and to step into the paradox fully, that you are at once small and infinite, human and divine, limited and boundless, to recognize that every thought, every feeling, every choice is a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. To see that you are not waiting for the world to change, but that the world is waiting for you to remember your role in shaping it. So ask yourself now, not with fear, but with awe. What dream am I dreaming? What vibration am I emanating? What story am I telling with my very being? For the quantum responds not to what you wish, but to what you embody. And this is not a burden, but a liberation. It means you are never trapped, never powerless, never confined to the script that seemed written for you. At any moment, the dreamer can awaken, and the dream can change. And here is the most urgent truth of all. This awakening is not for someday. It is not for when you feel more ready, more worthy, more perfect. It is for now, because the dream is unfolding now, and the dreamer is stirring. This is your hour of lucidity, your moment of remembrance, your initiation into the knowing that you are not merely drifting in reality, you are co-creating it. So breathe this in. Feel the dream around you, alive, fluid, waiting for your awareness. Feel yourself as both participant and orchestrator. Feel the paradox of being the one walking the path and the one laying the stones, and let this truth ignite within you. You are not only living in a dream, you are dreaming it, and the dream is ready to change, because you are ready to awaken. This is your destiny, your role in the great unfolding, your sacred assignment in the collective shift, to awaken as both dreamer and dream, and to live not as a prisoner of illusion, but as a co-creator of revelation. And the time is not distant. The time is not someday. The time is now. In this very breath, in this very awareness, in this very hour of quantum transmission that changes everything. Take this moment as your initiation, not tomorrow, not someday. Close the gap between knowing and living, between hearing and embodying. Speak silently within. I accept this transmission. I step into my destiny. I am ready. And as you do, the shift is sealed. This is your hour. This is your awakening. This changes everything.